I demand
There we go.
I demand a floating barrage of hearts before you start recording.
Okay. I already started recording though. That's the problem.
Wait, thumbs up. Was this gonna do
There
it?
we go.
Yay.
We're already recording. Well, we're not doing the show, but you got your floating
So
barrage of
stupid.
hearts. I've never used so okay, there's why
I'm
the React tool is important because yeah, I've
I'm a
never
baby.
used this before. I got here's them going to the planet of the apes, right?
Yeah,
And
okay,
the
cool.
rocket ships. I got that going. What else do I got going?
So I can't
Send
do this.
input
It's just
text.
you, huh?
Yeah, but you do it accidentally all the time.
But you have like a button for it?
Yeah, I have a button for it. It says React and has a heart. Uh, Except I only get like a few with
Oh no,
effects.
there it is.
There you go. See, I can do that, but yeah.
Stupid shit.
There you go.
Uh,
You have celebration things going. You found it. Did you? Or did it just celebrate? Because I said there's some shit. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
I don't have the
You just
poo emoji.
you didn't hit the three dots.
I did hit the three dots. Now, but I have a really long list of crap now.
Yeah. Well, you search within it.
Oh yeah.
Look, there's an eggplant.
Here's an eggplant.
That's
I mean, I
just
see.
on the screen.
Yeah, I see a lot. Well, yeah, but you had like tons of poo coming up the screen. So, like, this is just one guitar, right? No, it's a lot. Oh, it does everything like that. Okay. Hmm.
Oh, send with effect. That's what it is, right? Okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. So you
There's a
can
bunch
send
of them.
there. You can send everything with an effect. This is prime Patreon
So
content, people.
stupid.
Us discovering crap that's been here for what, 5 years? Hold on, I gotta find the most important one. Huh. Now we're just staring at emojis. This sucks for everyone. They don't have an ape though. They just have these monkeys.
Monkeys or apes,
No, they aren't.
right? No,
No.
they're
Monkeys are not
not.
apes. Monkeys are not apes. That's why apes get
I
pissed
thought
when you call
apes
them
was
monkeys.
everything.
Apes
I
is
thought
yes, a
apes
fish is an ape.
encompassed.
Fishes are apes. No,
No,
monkeys
I
ape.
thought that apes encompassed all. Oh no, that is different.
Yeah,
Wow.
apes are just chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, and us. So we already live on the planet of the apes.
So there are no monkeys on the Planet of the Apes.
There might be monkeys, but they're not apes. They wouldn't be part of ape culture. They'd be pets at best.
Mm,
Hmm. Okay,
I'm
I don't know.
something
Introduce the
about
show,
that
maybe.
just disappointing. Okay. What the fuck podcast is this? Okay. Welcome to podcast 1999, the podcast where we continue to tumble down the rabbit hole of the Planet of the Apes.
The ape hole. That sounds
The
worse. I shouldn't have said that.
iteration. Yeah, you should not. We're tumbling down the iteration hole.
We're in another iteration. So yeah, we this is Matt here. Over there, you are.
It's Mark.
That's Mark there. We are starting with the animated Planet of the Apes. I think it's probably good we took a bit of a break from the live action one to this one, just so it's not like we're going down the same street like twice, it's too
It's
quickly.
it still feels like we're going down the same street twice too quickly.
That could be the case. For listeners who want to keep up, for that break, Mark and I went to a different podcast feed, in Prison, and talked about the show Severance. So if you are like, hey, where were those guys for 6 months? We probably should have put it on the same feed. Maybe, I'll rethink how I do things in the future, but
Yeah,
that's what
why do we
happened for
have
now.
two different podcasts which are the same podcast,
Good point.
but one
That did
of them
occur to me
is
last week. I'm like, these are the same podcast. So yeah, put two in your feed, folks. That's all I can
uh,
say. I don't know.
yeah, go to the bedroom, turn out the light and put two in the feed.
Or hey, you said we should start putting plugs up front. Go to Patreon, go to podcastiopodcastius.org, put that in your RSS feed, and just get everything, including video game podcasts and stuff. You'll get it all at once. Plug now, don't have to do it later.
Is it that easy?
You can put the RSS feed and get everything that we put on the Patreon, yes, which is the unedited things with you and I talking about you and I talking about emojis for like 10 minutes.
I don't even listen to that stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, you just want to hear the act. Some people do. Yeah.
So, we're talking about the first two episodes of this show which are called Flames of Doom, and what escape?
Escape
Damn
from
it!
Ape City. It's
Escape
confusing
from Ape
because
City. Yeah.
the show is called Return to the Planet of the Apes, which does sound like, I think they use that for one of the TV movies or something? I don't know. It's
No.
it's it's too vague a title, really, when you get down to it. It's almost like they should have called it like the animated Planet of the Apes. That would have like just cleared up the issue when you do Google searches at least. But you didn't do Google searches back in 1976, so they weren't thinking about that, were they?
And if you tried to, then
75,
you'd get
excuse me. I'll
nothing.
get the date right.
You'd be like, "What?" Somebody would be like, "Why did you take your Altair and type Google into it? That doesn't mean anything."
I get when did this air concurrently with the live action one? No, it's a year
No,
later. It's a year later. Okay.
It's in the trivia.
It's okay. I know you're gonna get that. It's just so bizarre that they were like, here's this live action one that kind of fizzles out relatively quickly, and here's an animated one which will also fizzle out relatively quickly. We have how many? 13 episodes. Okay, that's gonna make our doing two an episode get confusing at some point. But
No, most of the episode titles are pretty good. Like I'll give
okay,
them that. Like
okay.
Escape from Ape City is kind of one of the but next week we have Lagoon of Peril and
Oh, we're
Tunnel of
looking at good
Fear.
surf rock titles. Yeah, from here on out, The Unearthly Prophecy, Tunnel of Fear, Laguna Pearl, Terra and Ice Mountain. Okay, Screaming Wings. We do have some amazing titles to get to in the future here.
It's
Uh,
ironically the last episode is River of Flames, not to be confused with Flames of Doom.
What I had Battle of the Titans as the last one. Scroll down. I don't
What?
know. Yeah, it's River of Flames, episode 7.
This is not IMDb is oh, are you looking at something that's not IMDb?
I'm looking at a episode list with plot summary, so it feels legit.
I mean IMDb has dates that they aired,
Maybe
unless
they
those are
aired out of
wrong.
order. Maybe they aired a serialized show out of order. I don't know. Maybe that's in your trivia. I guess not because you're confused. But
I'm not confused. I'm looking at a list that directly says the last episode is River of Flames and it aired on November 29th, 1975.
I have
I don't feel confused at
completely.
all.
Okay, mine says Battle of the Titans for that though. Okay, anyway, that's near here and nor there. But yeah, we'll get to it and find out in the future. So,
Okay, we'll
for now,
we'll
let's
we'll
let's get
check
trivial.
everywhere. We'll check all of the five places that dare to have a consensus on this. Uh, I
Trivia.
should have muted that. Okay. As you may remember, Up Above the World So High aired in December 1974, and the live action show was already canceled at that point. However, the executives at NBC and 20th Century Fox decided to greenlight a Saturday morning cartoon, which was rammed through into production in 1975. In fact, the series premiere aired on September 6th of that year, and the finale aired in November, so it was less than a year overall from from production, from the conception of the idea of the series to the end. DePatie Freeling Enterprises Incorporated was put in charge of the production. The most notable thing they'd worked on at the time had been the animated intros to the Pink Panther movies and the subsequent United Artists animated shorts, as well as the Inspector Clouseau cartoons. And the Aardvark, Super President, Here Comes the Grump, the Hound Cats,
You're not talking to
all
me,
that
right?
stuff.
You're talking to the audience.
I'm talking to everybody. As
Okay.
well as they also did some specials like The Cat in the Hat, The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, The Hoober Bloob Highway, and Halloween is Grinch Night.
Okay, I didn't know all those titles. I'll give you that.
Please note that I did not say they made How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That was made by Chuck Jones. Anyway, David DePatie and Friz Freeling were themselves former Warner Brothers animators, but Freeling had been there much longer since he was DePatie's senior by 24 years. Freeling helped develop a number of popular characters, including Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig. Anyway, as for television, whoa, that was in the wrong place. No, it wasn't.
Put the television in the right place.
That's weird. Wow, I really botched this. Okay. The studio would actually be defunct within 5 years after this production, and assets were liquidated and sold to Marvel Animation, and they had to finish the final DePatie Freeling production, The Grinch Grinches the Cat in the Hat. I have no idea what that's about.
I'm
That
thinking.
sounds uncomfortable. And after this
You're
point,
gonna get Grinched.
yeah, after this point, DePatty worked for. But just imagine the Cat in the Hat like makes things appear, and then the Grinch steals them, and then that just happens over and over, right?
Mm.
Like, what else could that be?
Thing one and
Anyway,
thing two get Grinched.
yeah, he takes them. Uh, that's kind of dark, actually. Uh, After this point, DePatty worked for Marvel until 1984, and then Hanna-Barbera before retiring, and Freeling went back to Warner Brothers to head up some of the movies that were mostly older footage stitched together that you might remember from the 80s. Freeling passed away in 1995 at age 88, and DePatty in 2021 at the age of 91. Anyway, Doug Wildey, Wildey. Doug
Doug
Wildey,
wildly Grinched everyone.
Doug wildly Grinched everyone. He is a co-creator of Johnny Quest. He took on the roles of associate producer, storyboard director, and supervising director, and thus had the most creative control over the series. Wildey had only seen the first two Apes films, so he mostly based the story on them. He was born in 1922, and Johnny Quest made up the bulk of his credits before this. He would later go on to work on Thundar the Barbarian, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Mr. T, and Turbo Teen. Remember Turbo Teen?
I
Like a
remember the other ones you said.
kid turned into a car.
Mm.
Whenever he got too hot, he turned into a car.
Okay, different than Manimal. Gotcha.
It's pretty. I blame that for my wanting to watch David Cronenberg movies when I was like 15. Anyway, his credits trickled off in the late 80s and early 90s, and he died in 1994 at the age of 72. Wildey gets director credit for all 13 episodes of the series, and the primary writing credit for these first two, as well as four more, goes to Larry Spiegel. He had almost no IMDb bio, including no birth date or death date. However, he did write or co-write The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, A Flintstone Christmas, an episode of The Evil Touch, and Evil Town. That's right. It sounds like he basically pivoted from writing Christmas specials to writing horror.
To evil specials.
Yes. Yeah, they're all evil special, like Halloween specials, and just anyway, the cast is small and almost everyone will be in all 13 episodes, almost every voice actor, that is. So I'll be doling these out gradually, but most notably, Austin Stoker returns as the voice of Jeff Allen. You probably remember him as having portrayed Bruce McDonald in Battle for the Planet of the Apes, as well as his role as Air Force Sergeant in Airport 1975. So that's it for now.
Oh, that's it for now. Okay.
I'm not going to
Sorry.
do any more.
We're not talking about
That's
Fred
enough.
Flintstone today. Okay, that's for later.
Yeah, well, Fred, no, we're not talking about Urko Flintstone. Uh,
I will give a few summaries for these episodes. Although again, like you just said, if you've seen the first two Planet of the Apes, you're probably good to go. You sent me the idea that I should just take the old summary from Planet of the Apes and just change the names, which I actually looked at, but there are some details that would be wrong in that case. So,
yeah.
mostly what happens to the rest of the flight crew, right? So that
Well, yeah, the that one
little
thing
dark
with
for a children's show.
the Earth swallowing someone didn't happen on
Fine
the
for a
other
G
two.
rate. Well, it happened later, didn't it? Happened second one.
Kinda.
Okay. So, yeah, they do start off with the great titles, don't they? With say it again because I actually didn't write it down.
Flames of Doom.
Flames of Doom. There we go. Bill Hudson, Jeff Allen, and Judy Franklin take a 1975 space flight on the NASA Venture. Did it say 76?
I think it was. I wrote down 76, but
Okay, I
I don't
changed.
trust my own notes.
That's why I was like, oh, the show must have been 76, and then you're 75. I was like, maybe I got it wrong, but I think the flight was 76. Okay, let's
But yeah,
take
they were
two
like
on that.
next year. This happens next year.
Yeah, take a 1976 space flight on the NASA Venture. Time dilates. It is now 3979, and they crash on the planet of the apes. They stumble through the desert, and Judy gets sucked underground after a spate of hallucinations. Bill and Jeff encounter Nova, a mostly mute woman who wears the dog tags of Ronald Brent, an astronaut who left Earth in 2079. Over in Ape City, just take the original Planet of the Apes, add in tanks, town square, and the Arc de Triomphe, and you're good to go. Oh, plus a strong gorilla desire to eradicate all humans, especially if they show the ability to speak. Gorillas attack the human enclave, with Bill ending up captured and Jeff hiding in the forest with Nova. Cut 2. Escape from the Ape City. Bill enters Ape City in a stockade truck and picks up on the fact that humans here do not speak. Ape scientists Cornelius and Zira quickly discover he can speak because he speaks. Dude could not keep his cover for more than 5 minutes. A gorilla guard overhears him and reports to the city council, who decides to begin the eradication of humans, liquidation of humans. What's the right word here? I don't know. Zira
Uh,
and Cornelius help
Genocide.
Bill. Sure. Zira and Cornelius help Bill escape, and he solid snakes out of the city. He runs into Jeff and Nova, and the three of them unlock a human stockade, allowing the humans to leave before they are ape-liquidated. I'm trying to put ape and liquidated together. Ape-liquidated. Okay,
Ape.
the
Yeah.
ape-liquidated. There, them
Liquidated.
liquidate,
Liquidaped.
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 I think it's really hard to put a Q and a P sound that
Liquidate.
closely in the same word. Because
Liquidated.
you got to get the
Liquidated.
you got to get the Q from liquidate, and you got to get the P in ape, and they just don't fit. It
It's
just
fine.
makes your
Liquidated.
okay.
Liquidated.
It's still hard to say though. It's not a
Liquidated.
smooth word to say.
Liquidated. I said it.
You're
Liquidated.
practicing. That's why you're practicing on
Liquidated.
air. Practice off air.
I
uh,
just practiced off air. Liquidated.
So I guess we should yeah, I didn't even mention Urko in there, but it is fun that they carry Urko over even though he's not in the movies. I mean, he is Ursus, right? Who's in the second movie basically, or any other gorilla,
It's
but
it's kind of worse because Urko was so good in the live action series. I'm not saying this Urko isn't good, but it makes me miss that Urko because that Urko was like really good.
yeah. I mean, let's see. The December was when the live action one started. So we're basically watching this almost like real time 50 years later, you know?
Yeah, more or less.
More or less, right? So it is like when people started seeing this on TV, they had seen the live action series about the same time passed as you and I had. So,
Well,
um,
maybe. This is a kids cartoon, so it's possible that
yeah, but if you're
it's
really into apes, also kids were watching
right.
that show, maybe. So,
I
or
don't
not.
know.
It's hard to
You,
say in the
you,
70s.
you can't
Look
be
at,
sure. Like Saturday morning cartoons are the introduction to things. I think for a lot of kids.
mm,
Like I don't think I saw the movie Ghostbusters before I saw the real Ghostbusters, the series.
I did. I think I've said this on a podcast before. I think my dad just doesn't like animation, so he just took. So I saw all the '80s, classics in the movie theater when I was probably slightly too young to actually go see them.
Well, I probably, if I had a kid, I would probably do that, but just because my parents were so not interested, they were so disinterested in pop culture that I definitely like beg them to take me to things and they wouldn't. So they would never have like taken me to see some new thing that everyone was talking about of their own
Okay,
volition.
the first we had to go to Ghostbusters twice because the first time I ran out of the theater when the librarian ghost goes nuts. So we had to,
Oh, I thought you
but
were
we
gonna
went
say you
back.
ran
No, I
out.
did see the whole movie in the theater. We went back and I guess went to a different showing. I think we saw it from the beginning again. I don't quite remember how that works. Again, 5 years old, little young for Ghostbusters, but we're not.
Yeah.
But I guess that is the weird thing with apes because in the late '60s up to mid '70s and I don't know why I'm specifying those years, but the idea that like actual pop culture is marketed to kids is kind of a more recent thing. Like definitely
Yeah.
post Star Wars, right?
I think it specifically is either post Star Wars or post ET, which we don't think about ET a whole lot, but it was like a huge, tremendous hit at the time. And that was like 82, I think.
Yeah, I recently rewatched ET. It had been a while, so
I've only seen it once.
hmm.
And that was like when I was 20 something. And I thought it was funny.
I did ride the Universal Studios ride before seeing the movie. I do know that.
I think I probably did too, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that they're definitely. I don't think this would be so much of a retread if they hadn't expected at least some kids to get this version first.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the thing.
Also,
Like we're kind of here, like we're coming in, and I've had people saying, and we have what 11 episodes to go, so we'll see how things work out. It might get real interesting. Some of the design choices, of course, are very interesting already, but yeah, it
yeah,
is like, well, we're just like at this moment, I'm like, well, I feel like the live action series was doing things a little bit more differently.
uh, there there definitely is. This has been an issue when I go back and try to watch cartoons from my childhood. Is that the cadence of voice acting in cartoons is very difficult for me to process as an old like as someone living now. Like I have a really hard time. There's always this sort of kind of it's not bad acting, but it's very slow and deliberate, maybe almost to buy them more time so the animation isn't as expensive. And it's kind of this thing where I get hypnotized by it and I just don't even know what's happening because my brain just shuts off because people are talking so slowly and everything's so far apart.
And then for us watching, and for anyone that was weird enough that just wanted to follow all ape stuff in the 70s, you're going from what? Roddy McDowell and Mark Leonard just chewing all the scenery, and 6 to 9 months later, six for us, nine for them, uh, we're
That could
getting
be
what you're
it's right.
talking about, right? It's like, that's not Cornelius. That's I do
No.
appreciate the Urko job so far, which is the same guy, right? Or I don't know. It seems like they switched voices on Cornelius at some point.
They I'm not really sure.
It seems
They
like they had
they
two people at first and maybe switched one or the other way around. I'm not sure. Anyway, you'll do his trivia probably next time, so we'll talk about it then.
Well, it's like the series itself has a cast listed and that's all just these but there's I think there is a different one of the astronauts changes at some point.
Okay, yeah, that might be it. Anyway, I know a few, like you said, there aren't many voice actors, but a few of them change around. Um,
Yeah.
Something I do like here is like the music is similarly like cheap, but it kind of has that industrial, like I from the oral hygiene podcast where I used to cover like like educational films and stuff. It's got that industrial film vibe and has tons of like Moog. So I was still kind of like in for the music a little bit.
The composer's Dean Elliott and he was born in 1917.
Whoa,
Again, it's like wow, there were some of these guys are real veterans.
screwing the Moog at that point. That's pretty impressive. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like most of the very end of his career was just like Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
That makes sense. Anyway, like I'm not like, oh my God, you need to get the soundtrack, but I was like, for the boundaries of a cheap 70s animated thing, the music's kind of like entertaining. Little sitar in there, little Moog in there.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the score is great. It looks great. That's the thing is the art style is fantastic. It's cool that the apes finally have cars,
And
you know,
tanks.
and tanks and jeeps. Very
So
specific.
that's fun. I do, and they keep showing the. Here's one thing they kept showing like the town square overshot, and then the Arc de Triomphe is like in the town square or something like it, right? And I'm like, that's a little weird. But then later, when Bill's escaping, now it's like a skyscraper city, which I guess it could be a different part of town. But I'm just like, if they keep showing us like place settings, like here is the Ape City, and it looks like a small town with the Arc de Triomphe, where's the skyscrapers coming from? You know?
Yeah, it's almost like the whole it lends it contributes to the whole fever dreamness of it. Like everyone's talking kind of quietly, but there's also no real sense of place. It just looks like a series of backgrounds.
I do have a sense of place because I am grafting because the first two movies have a very strong sense of place, right? So I'm just kind
Yeah.
of grafting that onto here.
I would say even I'd say every one of the movies has a strong sense of place, to be honest. Because remember, what is it? Escape was, just sort
Escape has
of,
the least, probably, yeah.
I guess, but it still gave you a sense that you were in like a modern, whatever,
Yeah.
mid
And then
century
Conquest was
city
like
like
three
Detroit.
places, Battle was like
Conquest
two
was like
places.
but Conquest was mostly a facility, and Battle was, the small town and then the underground. So it did make sense.
Yeah. So I just thought it was interesting because I guess if you take this cartoon I'm calling it a cartoon. On its own, it
It is.
doesn't, but because I'm just already kind of so a kid watching it might be a little more confused about that, whereas me watching it, I'm like, yeah, I know where all these places are because I've seen the first two movies.
Yeah. Um,
I guess you could show the kids the first two movies. They're G rated for some reason.
I would never. I don't think I would show the second movie to a child. That would be weird.
G rated, man.
I would sooner show the third, fourth, fifth, or any other reboots to a
Mm,
kid than the second one.
yeah, I think
Uh,
Conquest is where it finally goes up to. Maybe it was Escape where it finally goes up to PG. But ratings were weird back when they started. They didn't really know what they were doing at first. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
what would the original Planet of the Apes get now? It definitely wouldn't get a G. It's got light obscenities. It's got blood. It's got um,
probably PG. How much
PG.
blood does it really have, though?
Not that much, but no, I was just sitting here wondering if you would actually give that one a PG-13 or PG at this point. Hmm.
And if you gave it a PG-13, would they put a bunch more violence in it just because they could?
Yeah, and one F-bomb.
Yes. Where would you put that?
You'd add one more word to you damn dirty apes.
Yeah, I guess so.
um,
No, I would just put it at the end when he discovers the Statue of Liberty.
okay, that'd be a good place for it.
In fact, you don't even need it.
Except
Really, at the end of the movie,
you don't do the slow shot where you start to see the crown and stuff. It's just like a jump cut to the whole statue, and then he says it.
yeah. But you don't even have to do that. Really,
No
you
sense
cut to
of
the
mystery.
statue, and it just goes, and then it cuts to credits.
Oh, it cuts him halfway through a word, and then you get to keep your
Yeah.
PG rating anyway. Okay, or G rating. This is quite G rated though. I will. I mean, this is Saturday morning cartoon. It has to be, right?
It was interesting. There's at some point where Urko says the only good human is a captured one, and I was like, huh. And then he pauses a second and said, or a better yet, a dead one.
Hmm. There's the Urko we know.
Yeah, like oh yeah, you can say dead. I feel like maybe it changed in the '80s where you couldn't really say dead or dying. Like that was that whole thing with the Dragon Ball Z, the weird, bizarre Dragon Ball Z censorship.
No,
You know
Mr.
about that, right?
Satan.
No, there was no Mr. Satan in the U.S.
No, I know. And then let's say in Star Blazers where they took Space Battleship Yamato and took out all the violence and weird horny stuff. I mean,
But you know about how in Dragon Ball Z there is a whole thing where
oh, he goes to Goku dies and is in like
he
that
dies, but
train.
it's not death in the series. So when I watched part of it when I was when it was first on, I was really confused because all the stuff was contradicting itself, and I was like, "What? Wait, what? He was in outer space, but he's also beyond." But the most ridiculous thing is when he falls off the Dragon Bridge and goes to hell, and there's all these guys. They're just idiots that have shirts that say hell on them, but for the censorship, they changed it to Home for Infinite Losers, and the shirts all said HFIL because they just, colored them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I don't know.
It's pretty funny, right?
I was about to say if you were the one enacting that censor, I mean, not saying it needed to be censored, but doing the actual work. I mean, you'd at least be entertained with yourself having done that.
Yeah, as funny as the original concept is by itself, that's also pretty funny.
Yeah. So, sometimes censorship works, this is what happens when you was it meet a stranger in the Alps, the Big Lebowski censorship
Well,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Wow, I can't imagine what it'd be like to see that version first.
So back to here, this I guess if you are a kid in the 70s, this probably is a version you're seeing first because even if your parents will
Yeah.
like I mean I guess they got the
Well,
ape days at the
re-
movie theater. You go all Saturday and see all five of them at this point, right? But
but I mean, how much did that really happen? We don't have information on like how often did that really happen.
and
Did
home
did
video
they
hasn't quite
really?
hit yet, so
There is no home video. Yeah,
right.
unless you're extremely wealthy, and probably there isn't a lot of commercial VHS anyway. But like, yeah, we don't know. It might be something like they show them on TV once a year or something, or maybe barely at all. So we don't know.
Yeah. So my point is like, yeah, in the 70s, this is, if you're maybe 10 or under, this probably is your 1975 introduction to Planet of the Apes. Unless you just happen to catch the live action one. But this one definitely is trying to stick, I mean, it's different than the movies, but it's rocking the vibe a little harder, despite the design changes.
Yeah, I mean it is clearly designed for a new onboarding point, even compared to like the series that was a year ago, which also was probably an onboarding point.
Um, I guess I'll start just looking through my notes and throwing out things that were
Well,
original here and entertaining quotes and stuff. I did like the Book of
um,
Simeon Prophecy. That
yeah.
sounds like a fantastic prog rock album.
Well, there's one thing that sticks out from both of these episodes that is the absolute most entertaining thing. And you may already know what I'm going to say.
I don't.
Oh, when they have Bill captive and they're talking about brain surgery and he when he decides to speak, he just screams, "You're crazy! Operate on my brain!"
Oh, that
And
was
then
a
it like zooms
fantastic,
in.
yeah.
It zooms in on everybody. Like, it's just so funny.
That
I
was
was
good. I
like,
was
that
just
is
like,
so weird.
because he's a little more sailor mouthed in the movie, in the G-rated movie, so they can't do that here because it's a Saturday morning cartoon, right? So yeah, it
Well,
did
yeah,
come out.
but
I was like we need to make this intense, but we can't like do it the way the movie did it, you know?
it's just well, just the thought of it that you're trying to keep quiet. I guess it didn't have anything inside of his like thoughts. Like didn't have an inner monologue. You don't really know what he's thinking. He just decides to just scream, "You're crazy! Operate on my brain,"
He could have
which
nuanced that a little bit
clearly,
more. He could have done it with like
yeah.
gestures at first, you know? I did think it was funny when the humans are shutting him up because the humans don't know that the apes want to liquidate him if they know they can talk, right? The humans don't know about that at all. That's like the dog, the I shouldn't say a dog, but the cows at the slaughterhouse. They don't tell each other about what's happening when they go in that door, you know?
Yeah, it's I don't know. Nova is the this Nova seems weirdly like distant, disinterested a lot of the time. It's just kind of funny. I don't think that's intentional. It's just like just didn't really animate her doing a whole lot.
Yeah,
But
asking her in a louder and more intense voice did work with Nova, though. Just throwing that out there. Um,
yeah, yeah, but it's just that I don't think that these humans know because remember the live action series wasn't live action series sort of like take place before the movies and
well,
the
that there
humans
was some
aren't as
confusion.
dumb.
There was some confusion there. Yeah, the humans could talk, and it's like, oh, I think it's 32, like around 30. It's like maybe 900 years earlier. But he throws in the qualifier, but that's when it broke, right?
Huh.
So we don't absolutely know what the year was in that live action series. Also, I mean, the live action series, I do think at the end we were like, yeah, it's its own thing, right? It doesn't really actually fit in with the movies. They have
I
dogs,
mean,
you know?
if that happened before the movies and then, the humans died and were never heard from again, then that fits in the timeline.
Yeah.
They died. They never got back home. It's over. They're dead.
Okay. No, I just made the note that live action Nova was hotter, by the way, to at midnight. So
Sure.
my midnight notes.
Yes. What was her name? Linda Harrison, one of the hottest people to ever live. Yes.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I guess you're gonna have some trouble animating Nova. Um, I
I
guess she
mean,
likes astronauts though. Hmm.
cartoons are cartoons are cartoons are not as hot as humans.
It is weird that the MacGuffin so far is the dog tags with Brent though, right? Or the plot move, or maybe it's not a MacGuffin. I don't know. I'm just like that's a weird choice that we're going Brent.
Mm. Well, you could, if this fits into the timeline, you could assume this takes place after the movies since they have technology and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, but the planet blew up. This doesn't
Uh,
story-wise, this might fit with the movies, but visually it doesn't at all, right?
I
So
mean, did somebody go back and check to make sure the planet blew all the way up?
Okay, maybe they, and then they just had an industrial revolution. This is like 5 years later.
It looked like the planet blew up, but it was just like that compound blew up.
Charlton Heston sold the planet blowing up with his facial expressions.
Damn you, Zaius.
Yeah, Zaius does not stick out in these. I will say that because in
Mm.
both movies and live action, you know, the little bit of Zaius we got in the live action, he would stand out as Zaius. Whereas here, it's just like I feel like the orangutans are like all Zaius, kind of, you know?
Here is sort of, I think the worst thing about this series is, well, in the live action series, a lot of people talked about Urko and Zaius, or people, a lot of apes talked about Urko and Zaius and were very afraid of them. So when Urko and Zaius weren't on screen, you were thinking about them, right? So they were basically, but this series is mostly apes talking about what they're going to do with humans. So if you're watching apes and all the apes care about is a bunch of humans, then that makes the apes seem pretty lame.
They're
Like, why
not
are you guys
passing
so afraid
the
of
Bechdel
humans?
test of humans and apes.
Yeah, like, why are you guys so worried about what you're going to do about humans? Like, why don't you talk about how you're going
Develop your ape society. What's happening in the
to.
ape Supreme Court? You know what's on
Yeah.
ape television tonight? They have ape television in this world, so I
Yeah,
think
it's a narrative issue where you don't want to just watch the bad guys only talk. It's like you don't necessarily want to watch a scene
unless it's
where,
Skeletor, that's what Skeletor does, and that's fine.
yeah, but Skeletor only had one goal. It was to take over Castle Grayskull. And who controlled Castle Grayskull? He-Man. It, but like the apes are winning, so you'd think that, that it would be like watching I don't know, like
Some
watching
kind
a
of
movie
TV
about
show.
Hitler and Hitler is just only talking about that damn Winston Churchill. That's all he cared about.
But I get that is
Oh,
70s Saturday morning cartoon, you know, general lingo though. But yeah,
yeah, the
again,
Hitler
that
Hour
that
from
that
Saturday
nine
morning.
month disconnect between the two shows, and like I feel like anyone that had watched both might notice. Um, Also, yeah, they just have to be keep being like, okay, let's talk about okay, we're going to eradicate humans if they start talking. They just keep saying those humans better not start talking, or we're going to eradicate them. Hey, you know what's going to happen when that human starts talking? They're going to get eradicated. They just keep saying it over and over, you know?
Yeah, maybe they should just kill them.
Yeah.
Just kill them.
Yeah.
what are you what are you so afraid of? Just kill them if you're so afraid. If you're so worried about it, if you kill them, they definitely can't talk.
Right. Oh, I did like Mount Eight more, just changing a topic there, but
Yeah,
Mount
that's
Eight
true.
more was fun. I like that. Why would people what kind of people would carve Confederates on a mountain? Oh wait, I said the wrong thing. Anyone that
The
didn't
same
catch that,
kind
go
of
visit Stone
losers,
Mountain, Georgia.
the same kind of losers who would constantly talk about somebody who poses no actual threat to them. Um,
The other one the other quote I liked was at the end of the second episode. It was like, I just thought of something. Our laser drill. I like that line a lot.
yeah, I was like, did they have laser drills in 1976? I sort of looked it
It's a
up,
year
and
in the
I
future.
don't
They
think
have a
so.
year to make laser drills from 1975 to 76. They have 1 year for laser drills.
The Wikipedia entry about laser drills was surprisingly vague.
Okay. Or maybe NASA just has stuff that you don't know about, right? They have the laser
Sure.
drills and they just don't let you know about the laser drills.
Yeah, Soviet Union already has a laser drill.
Yeah.
They've had one since 1965.
There we go. So no problem. These are actually cosmonauts. No, they aren't. They do show American flags. NASA. Oh yeah, they had a
Hey,
very prominent NASA display, didn't they?
imagine if they changed just one thing, like they're cosmonauts. That would be fun. That'd be great.
But then the show
Nobody
would be
would.
in Russian.
Yeah, there's another thing that I think we need to think about as far as the audience of this is probably no adults watched Saturday morning cartoons. I think that's like solidly our generation, like to
Yeah,
the point
that's
where even when I was kind of watching Saturday morning like I don't think I was even watching, was Batman the animated series on mornings or was it on nights?
that was late afternoon if I remember correctly. It's syndicated. And also
Yeah,
you
so
were like 15 when that started.
Yeah, and I felt kind of guilty about it. I was like, I don't know, should I be watching cartoons still?
The Simpsons, no one was ever bothered about The Simpsons. I guess that was prime
That
time
was
though, that's
different.
why. Yeah. Because I actually did not really watch much of Batman the animated series when it was live on TV.
Mm.
I didn't really see it till like the past few years when a few Black Fridays ago, cheap Blu-ray set of the series. I'm like, sure, I need to watch that. And now I've watched like 3 episodes.
Well, I bought the same set
Yeah.
probably a year before you did, and I've watched almost none of it.
Okay. I've watched more of my Batman 66, just to be clear. Because I think I've said it
I
here
would
before.
watch zero of that.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
no, here's what you do with Batman 66
No,
on
I don't.
Blu-ray. You put in the Blu-ray, you start it, and you're going to sleep, and maybe you fall asleep in the middle of the episode, and then you wake up, and it's like you're in the story is in the exact same part, but the villain is now different.
That sounds
Because you
horrible.
slept through like 3 episodes, and now it's like at the same story beat like it was when you fell asleep, but it's
I
different
also
people.
can't I can't sleep through watching I can't sleep while watching things, but
Oh,
that
okay.
also the idea
I
that
like
it
the
would be
fever
so
dream Batman
repetitive.
66 more than yeah, more
Are
than
you
it
like a
was.
Scooby Doo guy? Did you like Scooby Doo?
Yeah, as a kid, I love Scooby Doo.
I
I
did
haven't
not.
Scoobied much recently, but yeah.
I pretty much hated it when I was a kid because it was just the same thing every time. I was like, I know what happened.
So I'm pretty
I
sure
don't need
Return of
this
the Planet of
anymore.
the Apes will not be doing that because, like you said,
No.
not a whole lot happened in the 2 episodes, but the 2 episodes were extremely different, although
Hmm.
mirroring parts of the movie. So
The second one was a lot. The first one, right after I watched it, I messaged you. It was like, we have to do these two at a time because like nothing happens in the first episode except the Earth
they have to do
thing.
the walking through the desert crap, don't they?
Yeah, it's so much of it is like you told me to the Alien Earth was really good recently, and I started watching it, and it was a bunch of people in space like having dinner just like the beginning of the movie Alien, and I was just like, ugh. I just
I,
turned it off. I was like, I can't
okay, I had an initial
stop.
this is good, and then I did peter out and did not watch the show, and then people told me the show got very bad, so I
Yeah,
didn't.
apparently turned into some dumb Marvel things shooting each other crap at the end.
Okay, so anyway, I
Well,
had a brief flush. I was excited to have discovered something, right? And I was wrong.
yeah, I still probably
Discovered
I
extremely popular mass
still
media.
yeah. Well, you haven't. That guy did Legion, which is genuinely original and interesting.
Yeah, so the chance was given, yes. Um, so
You
that is
use your
something
chance
the
for
show
that.
definitely has going, that it does seem to come out of the formulaic vibe of Saturday morning cartoons. Like you said, it's serialized, which I was surprised because the live action one was
Yeah.
barely serialized. I mean, it wasn't like they just had like
No,
a
it really
few.
wasn't.
I mean,
Like
they
one
really did
guy, the
stop looking
one
for that whatever it was very quickly.
yeah, the one prefect shows up a second time, but what he's doing has almost nothing to do with what he was doing the first time.
Yeah. So I was surprised just how much these two were serialized, and I guess we're going to continue with that because Judy has to show up with the mutants at some point. I'm assuming that's how this works.
That is
Judy
what
and the
I
Mutants. That's a
assume
good new wave band for
because
the Jetsons.
they can't kill her,
That's because
right?
Judy's a Jetson. That's why I said that, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes. They can't kill her because it's for children, right? I think.
They could never bring her up again if they really wanted to. But I assume. I mean, they showed the mutant hallucination. She fought. There's an earthquake. She falls on the ground. She's with the mutants now. They're
It'd be
just
really funny if they're just like that was really what I thought because
like it's
um
episode 10. And like, what's it? Did we have someone else with us? We had a
she has
woman. There's
the
a woman. It's Nova. What are you talking about?
Nova has the same voice actor.
Sure. I
No,
mean,
no, it's
Nova
true.
just
No, the
Nova's like
the
Pikachu.
same
Except she says other
woman,
people's names.
the same woman voices Nova and Judy.
That
So
makes sense.
it could just they could just go on like that. And I hate this because, the implication is, well, we got rid of that full character and now we have this woman who just wears an animal skin and barely talks and follows us around everywhere.
I do
Like I
like
guess
how
that's
Bill
how
and
the movie
Jeff
goes anyway.
just keep wearing their street clothes and nobody cares. So I mean, they didn't
Yeah.
notice that Jeff is wearing, excuse me, Bill is wearing like a light blue T-shirt and white pants. That didn't like ring a bell for anyone.
No, there's just some peasant clothes they found in the ruins of Bloomingdale's.
Okay, there we
I
go.
don't know.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
happens all the time.
because they're like, oh, his eyes are blue. That's so weird. I'm like, yeah, and he's wearing like freaking factory constructed clothes. You know, if a gorilla shows up wearing jeans and a t-shirt, you'd think that was a little weird, right?
It'd
In
be
our
funny if
world,
he's just wearing like the I
Ed
don't
Hardy
know.
t-shirt.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of a name of a brand.
There, that's the first name I thought of.
Sure.
Because that would
He
be
was wearing
that is
Abercrombie and
yeah.
Finch.
Is Ed Hardy the funniest one for a
Finch,
gorilla to be wearing?
I guess.
Abercrombie and Fitch. No, that would have to be something skinny, right? Because they have all the emaciated models on their um.
I don't know. American Apparel. I think that's the emaciated ones. Does that
Oh,
even
is it?
exist anymore?
I don't. Hey, I do all my shopping at Uniqlo because in Japan that's the only place that have clothes that fit like European builds. Because if I just go to the
Yeah.
mall and get something like it'll fit, but then the shoulders are really tight. Or you buy pants and then like the crotch is like weirdly tight just because
Hmm.
people are shaped slightly differently.
Wow, I just went to American Apparel's website and it's like way less horny than it used to be.
Yeah, there was a controversy or something, I think. So
Yeah, but it's
go to
just normal
Abercrombie and
people wearing
Fitch's.
regular clothes.
Don't go to this TV show because they're in their proper clothes. And the gorillas are wearing their gorilla stuff and their orangutans. They do keep that is the thing now that we're in this more like modern town. It's should the apes all still have their ape uniforms? That kind of made sense in kind of that rustic look, but in this one it doesn't make as much sense.
But the only reason it made sense is because the budget was so high they had to just cut corners by. Nobody in Abercrombie and Fitch's website is skinny. They're all just wearing they're normal shaped people wearing baggy clothes.
Okay,
I
sure, why
think
not?
skinny times is over.
Skinny times is over.
Yeah, it's time for baggy comfort,
Hmm.
which personally I hate. I still wear tight clothes. I don't care.
That came up yesterday. I went to the onset with Maddie and he was like, yeah, he's wearing like tighter. He was complaining about the Uniqlo Heat Tech t-shirt. He's like, it's a little tight. And it's like, oh, but he buys large and I buy extra large, but we're about the same size. So
I want my clothes to hug me. I want to be hugged.
also I
I want
lost
to
a
be
lot of weight in the
held.
past year, but I didn't so my old clothes are a little baggy and then I just keep buying more baggy clothes because I'm used to buying that size.
I've gained weight and
Hmm.
I refuse to buy new clothes.
Okay. I'm just swimming around in my
I'll
clothes. That's
die.
what I'm saying.
I'd rather die than buy extra large. I'll
Right.
die. I'll be strangled by my
Will you wear a gorilla
large
uniform,
pants.
a
Sure,
gorilla military uniform?
sure. If I'm doing a live stage performance where I'm playing that character, absolutely.
Before we ask a few questions, I guess we do need to give a little word to the animation, which is the designs are good. The animation's pretty garbage. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
there's
just
barely any animation. That's how they got it made in less than 9 months.
yes, yes. But like I'm doing over at Cartoon Cabal, I call it Disney, whatever. We're doing Evangelion,
Hmm.
and a lot of that
Still?
animation's very good. Yeah, it's got 26 episodes in the original. Um,
Hmm.
But yeah, that one, every once in a while we're like, they're saving money on these shots, but it's still most of it looks amazing, right? And the ones where they're saving money are usually done stylishly, where this one is just like everything is cheap, you know? So there is
Well,
creativity in the designs and stuff. It's cool. It is a bummer, I guess, to re-enter the world of 70s animation.
I like the Evangelion TV series better than the movies because when the movies do a whole lot of shots that are just full-bodied people talking to each other, it's not as impressive because the way that they cut corners for that show was to do different like they did like quick different angles and stuff. If it was sort of the same approach as Plan Return of the Planet of the Apes, but they just did a lot more cuts and a lot more perspective, like just double the budget but still cut corners, then that would be fantastic. It's just there are a lot of corners
You
cut
can
here.
you can cut an interesting
It's a
corner. So
circle.
that's still one of my favorite things about the Battlestar Galactica reboot, where when they did the miniseries, they had to cut corners. So the joke is all the books in that series have the corners cut, so they're not rectangles. They got all the corners are cut on the books or papers. Whenever you see a paper book in
Uh,
that show, it's a weird trapezoidal shape.
that's funny.
Yeah. That meant
Uh,
they had to, of course, 2 years down the line, the joke wasn't funny because that meant any time that a book or paper was to appear, they'd have to, do some corner cutting.
I was tired of the fracking thing within one episode.
I'm fine with that one. I can live with that.
I when I started watching it again, rewatching it, I was more okay with it. But when I tried to watch it when it was kind of new, I was like, I can't stand this. I'm not gonna be able to
Mm.
stand this because they say frack so much. They say frack so much in that show that if they were actually saying the F word, it would also be annoying. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like
it's
that's how I felt about it.
sailor talk. They're kind of like sailors. They're on a battleship, right?
Well, remember when South Park did that episode where it was like right when cursing sort of became legal, and it was just that Cartman had a shirt with the S word on it, and it was just you know, but that's exactly how some cable shows were, like some lesser ones. Like I think Nip Tuck did this, but something else. It was like Rescue Me or something, where it would just zoom in on somebody's face. They'd be like blank. This is their non-cursing podcast, so
Well,
this isn't.
that's how you said you wanted to end the original Planet of the Apes, right? With Charlton Heston
Yeah,
starring to mouth the word, and then it cuts the credits.
but imagine, but when they would do that back in the day, whatever year this was, it was probably like 2001 or something. It was just they were so dramatic about it, which made it incredibly lame. It was so lame when they would just zoom in on somebody and say one curse word like they were the coolest person who ever lived. Like this is stupid. Just put it like like BBC sitcoms did it well because they would just drop it in somewhere in a funny joke, you know? Like Blackadder would just say it sometimes and it would be really funny because they knew how to do it. It wasn't because they didn't think it was super cool. It was just something they dropped in somewhere. Anyway, what
Uh,
were we talking about before this?
the Planet of the Apes animated series.
Oh, fracking. Right. It was about fracking. Too much fracking. You know
Mm,
what
not
else is
here.
bad? Fracking oil.
Mm,
I'm also opposed to that.
don't frack your oil.
Don't frack. Yeah, it's the thing where you drill until
I know what it is.
yeah.
I think
Okay,
people in
what's the
general know what it is. I don't know. You were describing. I guess if someone doesn't, you can finish that if you want. You don't want to. That's fine. Let's
it's
give these
like fracking the earth.
fracking
Get
Earth.
it with your drill.
Mm,
Okay,
I'll
so
rat on you.
what are the questions for the show? I can't remember.
We give them bananas.
Oh,
I guess we do need to
we
discreetly
have to do
give
them
each
separately.
episode. I think we have to do them separately.
I'm
Um,
giving Flames of Doom. I'm giving that 2 bananas, and both bananas are for when the Earth swallows Judy up because that's pretty bananas. I'll give Escape from Ape City 5 bananas, and 4 of those 5 bananas are just that scene where Bill starts screaming.
yeah, I'm pretty much on. I was giving the bananas for different reasons, but I was one banana just like apes and stuff, right? Second banana because Flames of Doom is an amazing title. So, uh,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and we should note that this children's series for Saturday morning does start with upside down crucifixions in the theme song. So
Yeah.
that's hardcore.
This is no, I think this at least feels edgy for something of the time. Like I'm sure you could find a lot of stuff that is completely unwatchable for this period.
Mm.
I don't think that includes the Pink Panther
Oh,
cartoons.
Pink
I think
Panther's
those were
good.
actually great. Yeah.
Psychedelic Pink, that's one of the best things ever.
Yeah. But
I don't know if
also
it was
there's
actually
some
called
stuff
Psychedelic Pink, but
there's some stuff from some of those. There's at least one episode of The Inspector that I remember that was so racist I cannot tell you about it. But I remember the joke and it's bad. I think Friz Freeling, you know, for all he did right, I think he does have kind of a history of doing some of the Warner Brothers cartoons that you have to have a disclaimer in front of.
right. Anyway, Psychedelic Pink, yes, it is called Psychedelic Pink. It's from 1968. It's fantastic. I
Hmm.
recommend people watch that for they want to see what Frailing was up to in other places. So anyway, 2 bananas
Yeah.
I gave for the first episode. The second one, I'm just gonna give it one more banana. I think we're only up to 3 bananas. The series might win me over. The titles in the future are looking good, but it has not won me over yet.
I feel
I,
the same way.
I,
I
I think the live
It,
action one won me over faster. Maybe just because it did look more like the movies, cheaper version of the movies. But yeah, and
we
again, Roddy McDowell and Mark Lenner were quite a bit of my enjoying that show.
and really, I don't know. The worst thing about that show is there are probably 4 or 5 episodes out of the, what was it, 14?
Yeah,
44 or 5 you could easily skip, but on the other hand, the rest of the series doesn't suffer if you skip those. Like
right.
you could probably pick a couple of the compilation movies.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably not a bad way to do that. Whereas I guess this one is going to do that. That's kind of one of the interesting things with this animated series. It seems to be kind of doing the modern Netflix version of a series, right? One big story,
Yeah.
chopped to serialized, 13 episodes finished.
It's probably, man, it's probably really hard to, I don't think Planet of the Apes lends itself to a 22-minute format, right?
Okay, that's interesting because I do the Twilight Zone where we're always talking about where 25 minutes is the perfect format for the Twilight Zone, and when you try and do more, it can get a little wonky.
Yeah, but there's so much, you have to throw so many rules out for this because there's, I don't, I'm sure there is one, but I can't think of a Twilight Zone episode where it starts on a completely foreign planet and you have to introduce like all
I
the stuff
can.
about which one,
I
like
was
people are like all
The
over or
Lonely
something.
came to mind where the guy's like, I mean, he's the only one on the planet, so it doesn't take long to
Yeah.
explain, but
Yeah, that's it. This is a whole society of apes. Anyway,
yeah.
we'll see where this takes us over these next handful of
And
podcast
yes, I get the
episodes.
Apes Twilight Zone Rod Serling connection. I just don't think it pertains to our current conversation.
Yeah, I think
Just in
that
case someone's screaming at their phone.
serial I think serialization is a better call for this because they're just you it's hard to do a whole lot within this but who knows? Maybe they'll just drop the serialization after a couple of
I'm
episodes.
curious
And
if
then
that's
we'll
what's
just,
going to happen if we get to six. And I mean, that's what the G.I. Joe cartoon did. It did the three mini series,
hmm
and then it was just like all over the place.
yeah, I mean, and I think Transformers did that as well. Like
They
there are a
kind of
bunch
did
of
that
two
as well,
parters,
yeah. So
several 5 parters. Uh,
cartoon history is weird, and I do really
yeah,
feel that I keep saying cartoon, and I feel like almost every conversation I have. Again, I do the Disney podcast, and I'm always saying animation, animation.
it's
But I
called
watch this, and it's like
anime.
anime. Well, animation for Disney,
Anime.
right? But I'm looking at this and just being like, it's a cartoon. Is that me being too harsh with it? Should I be just the animation in here? There is an
On
animation, like you said.
every once in a while, I think to myself, Hanna-Barbera completely destroyed animation for like 20 years.
Well,
I think
that
it's a
was
little
actually
harsh.
the late IF. It was three letters, but it was the style of animation made to compete with Disney in the late 40s because
hmm
it was cheap and blocky and easy. So, um,
Well, yeah,
it was kind
Disney
of a cartoon
themselves.
war, right? They no, they were the most against it. They were like because the old man and Walt himself was annoyed in 1960 when they did the Dalmatians and Xeroxed some of them to save
Yeah,
time and money. That's but the Hanna-Barbera vibe is way more minimal.
yeah, but Warner Brothers shut their studio down in like 1964. So that's when like DePat. I'm looking at the one now, and David DePatie produced it, and then basically these guys kind of spun off from that. But still, I think yeah, it was kind of just ending but at the same time, studios like Hanna-Barbera were just pumping out stuff for no money, and then the 80s that pivoted to like toy sales because of the Reagan thing. What was the thing that Reagan made it legal to just sell toys with your cartoons, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as I bet they had a little bit of merch to go along with the series because before Star Wars, Apes was kind of like the main, you know, franchise that had a bit of merch.
I just don't think that was just anything like near that. I think like Star Wars and George Lucas selling a toy for every single thing that was in Star Wars kind of kicked off the we need an action figure for everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is like the proto version, so it's not as intense as later. This is version one.
And I still feel bad about pestering my parents for that stuff because I never really played with those things all that much when I got like
I I I
Transformers.
I got use out of those. I mean, where
I
it's a dumb thing to buy. I don't know, but I got my
yeah,
use out of some of those Star Wars and Transformers and so forth.
I would say as bad as Atari 2600 was, I still got much more enjoyment out of those games than I did out of like action figures. But that maybe that's just me. I want to move the thing on the screen and make it blow up the other thing on the screen. But
Okay. Anyway, I guess bananas given pitch that front loaded, so we don't have to do that. Plug whatever you want to call it. So I guess we're just gonna
plug.
escape from this ape city.
Yeah, upon these surfing upon these flames of doom. Um,
I'll take Sarah upon these flames of doom as an ending.
sure.
Hmm. Okay. Speaking of endings, I guess I'll hit a record.
Have you watched Pluribus yet?
No.
Oh, really?
I'm always watching shit for podcasts. I don't have time for pluribus.
You should
Uh,
watch it.
I know I
I was-
should.
That's why I was saying you should give me an opinion on whether we should do a podcast about it or not.
There
I
was
guess.
what happened? There was something where I was going to, and then I don't remember. Anyway,
Well,
yeah.
having watched this, I have doubts now that I'm like maybe we should have just done that because that still would have been more to talk about than this.
Well, I think two upping them is good. I mean, that's what Mission Log did with the Star Trek animated series, right? Um, so
I
I
didn't listen to those, but it makes sense.
yeah, they did them all together. I will say some of these I'm trying not to spoil myself, but looking just kind
Mhm.
of scanning the plot summaries, it looks like it should at least be interesting.
Yeah,
Like
I did see the
because these
spot the
first two,
thing about Judy coming back, kind of.
well, you don't even have to spot that. You know she's coming back. They did all
Yeah,
the mutant shit and she falls into the earth. She's coming back.
yeah.
That's not a plot thread you don't follow up on. Especially when they
I
already followed
honestly
it up in the thing you're kind of readapting.
that thing how I mentioned how I like the cadence of the dialogue made me kind of tune out. I didn't even notice her disappear the first time. I
Ah!
had to go back.
Okay, that's funny. Uh,
Yeah. I was like, where did she go? I don't know.
but yeah, I mean, we will end up knocking these out in about, it's going to take what, 6, 7 sessions to do these, and you want to
Yeah.
do the next two on Thursday or your Wednesday? We'll be
Mm.
a third in by the end of this week.
Yeah, maybe. I'm kind of agnostic about that. I don't know if
We can do it next week too. It's fine with me. I guess
let's
I'll hit
just
the
do it
record
next
now that
week
we're just
unless
planning
you
crap.
said something about you said something about to Brian about if he wanted to drop in. If he wants to, then sure, but
Oh yeah,
I don't
I
know.
sent the link this time, so hi Brian, if you're listening, you're welcome to drop in. You get some
I
links. But I will
yeah,
stop
but I
recording for
don't
now.